Yeah, why not? We live, baby.
Have you seen the new Avatar trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
Looks good, innit?
Um, I think it looks okay. I think I need to see more. We spoke about this before. Um, I think it looks okay, but I need to see more. It's just a teaser trailer.
You need
The
to see.
bending didn't look bad though. That's the one thing.
We didn't even see much of it.
You saw a little bit of fire bending. I think that's about it. You didn't really see what, anything else. I saw a fire kick. That seemed cool.
Yeah, that's it. But it looked like
It looked a bit slow.
it looked smooth. Yeah. It looked smooth.
It looked smooth, but it was a bit slow. But it looks fine. It looks fine. It looks fine.
Yeah, it already looks better than One Piece trailer live
Of
action.
course, you would say that. Of course, of course.
No, but it's just the truth. You know what I
I
mean?
remember when I think, do you know, yeah, Avatar should be easier to do than One Piece, but at the same time, maybe not. I don't know. I think when it comes to maybe capturing the essence of the series, I think it's easier to do Avatar than it is to do One Piece.
Yeah, because it's already slightly grounded.
Yeah, somewhat ground. Like you could make this into a somewhat, even though One Piece, not One Piece, even though Avatar is kind of a bit of a comedy, it's you can make this into a grounded series. One Piece isn't really grounded, but it is kind of grounded pre-time skip. But as it goes on, it becomes more and more wacky. So yeah.
It's become yeah. It's crazy because it's the characters really that have become. So, for example, Sanji has become a caricature of himself. Zoro has become a caricature of himself. Luffy has become a caricature
We've already started. Here comes the
of
hate.
himself. Nami's become a caricature of himself. Usopp has
I
become a
think
caricature of
when I
himself.
meant by hating, I meant no. What I meant by wacky, I meant from episode 1 to like episode 30, it becomes more wacky in the sense the character designs are more wacky. The landscape becomes a bit more wacky. I meant it in that way. I didn't mean it in the way you just said.
I mean, I must have picked up something. That's why I was saying, wow.
Because you're a hater.
Nah,
You
nah,
told
but
me
no,
tonight.
No,
I
it
said One
is
Piece is
wacky.
wacky.
Yeah,
A man said,
it's
yeah,
like,
these man they
yeah,
become cartoons of themselves.
yeah, but you must have mentioned something. That's the reason why I drew.
No, I just said it's easier to do Avatar, I think, than it is to do One Piece live action.
Yeah, but
Um,
I
yeah,
was even talking about you were talking about wackiness, and I was saying how the characters have become more wacky versions of themselves, so it makes
I
it
don't
even
think they have.
hard to replicate that. It
You
becomes
think
even
so?
hard to replicate that in live action.
I think the characters are more or less the same. I don't.
No, they become worse versions of themselves. So, for example, the traits that makes them stand out, they've pretty much stuck with that, and have allowed that to become the character, like the standout quality of the
Give an
character.
example.
You know what I'm saying? So, for example, Luffy being an idiot has continued to be an idiot even when circumstance demands him to show a bit of mental development, for example. But he's stayed as that stupid. Oh, Zoro just does that. Just a big example is what's his name? Um, Sanji with his nosebleed. Like he's the character has literally just
Do you
stayed.
know what? Yeah, you know,
You know what I mean?
Sandra. I think this may be controversial. I don't think it is actually. I think live action. I'm not saying they do Sanji better in live action than they do in the anime or the manga. I like how they don't really exaggerate the whole girl thing.
Yeah, which works way better. You know what?
It works way better.
Pre-time skip Sanji was fine. Everybody was fine with
I
Sanji.
wasn't fine with it. I can't. I
No,
still thought
everybody
it
was
was.
fine with Sanji hitting on girls. It's just it's become exaggerated and excessive. That's
Excessive. Okay.
what
Okay. Yeah.
That's why he's become a caricature of himself. He's literally just that. He's just become an
I don't.
exaggerated.
Okay, I can see the Sanji thing. I can see that it's probably
and
it
and
happens
all
too often.
and all that Zoro has is he's lost of. Obviously, we know he has a bit of character in him, but I'm talking about all that Zoro has. Oh, uh, losing direction and that sense of loss of direction, and he's just a guy who's just like who likes to drink. It's the overuse of
I don't think
those.
it's even overused. I think it's not even like a big part of your character, really. I think the drinking is very minor at best. I think Zoro's a bit different from the rest of them. I think some of the traits like the drinking and he gets lost. I think those are minor parts of his character. Um, I think that for Sanji, I think you saying that about for Sanji makes sense. For Zoro, I don't think it's really an issue really. You need to turn off that background sound still.
Who me?
Yeah.
I don't have any background. Oh, the TV.
Or just lower the volume.
Yeah,
We're
no,
professionals. We're professionals.
we're not professionals, fam. I swear we missed One Piece
Hey, hey,
review
hey, bro, don't.
recent chapter.
We missed the last two. So I didn't mention anything because I knew that no one. Well, I knew people would come to the stream, but I know because it's a backstory, no one's rushing to go and talk about the backstory.
I'm sure Daryl was because he that's
Daryl
that's
would.
Daryl, that's
I think
Daryl's
Daryl would.
part, huh?
Yeah, Daryl would. But because I hate you, man. Anyway, if you're not shouting to have a stream, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and I really wasn't pushing it just because
Yeah.
I didn't want because I knew I didn't want people to just hype up the backstory to the point it's like because it's not the backstory. It's not the backstory. The backstory is important, like very important, but it's not the backstory for me that makes it. It definitely helps, but it's not the backstory that makes the sort of the arc that we're in. It's not what sort of it's not what would really sort of complete the arc for me. It's really what happens at the end
Do you know what?
and how
There's a
that
lot going on in this arc,
there's a lot really, but
It's not even focused at all. This is probably one of the most unfocused arcs because there's a lot of different things going on. There's flashbacks for Kumar. We got the actual
because it's
story
going back and forth with the GARP stuff as well,
with
and
the government stuff and what's going on with other pirates, and there's
yeah,
just a
this
lot
is
going
this
on.
is all what One Piece fans wanted in the first place.
Well, a lot of back and forth.
A lot of back, no, like a back and forth, and we're finding out a lot about what's going on in the world as well at the same time. Rather than like we have an arc exclusively for the Straw Hats, and then after the arc you have a world building events going on. But rather,
Yeah,
what we're seeing is
that's
we're
the normal
seeing
story.
everything happening at the same time, which is like a good thing. Do you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I think anyway. So it's actually a good thing that we're going
Oh,
back.
you actually think something's good?
Uh, it's not. I'm guessing it's the style that I think is good, not necessarily the content. You know what I mean? But yeah, the style of going back and forth between what's happening in the world and what's happening in the arc is actually something different from what we're used to, and I think it actually works that way because you can get bored. For example, you can because post time skip, like you remember post time skip when everyone was in Fishman Island and how bored everybody got, like especially reading it weekly. Do you see what I'm saying? That was very now. Imagine if there were back and forth between what's happening in Fishman Island and between what's happening in the world. So every time you go to what's happening around the world, it gives you something fresh, so, something fresh, something engaging. And then when you're back to Fishman, you don't feel that sense of this is so boring, blah blah blah, because you haven't been focusing on that arc for a while because you were away. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you think of Egghead Island, it's actually good that it's like a back and forth sort of thing. It's what's making the arc a bit more refreshing rather than just we're stuck in flipping Egghead Island. This is dragging blah blah blah. So I actually think it's a good sort of stylistic it's a good sort of stylistic thing that Oda has going on here, and I think it actually helps the arc because I actually think the content of Egghead Island mostly has been for me has been quite not. I would say I would say I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to. What is the heart? Like, I don't care about Vegapunk. Like, I'm asking myself, what is the heart of Egghead Island? And I don't know yet. And it seems to me that the heart of Egghead Island isn't even Vegapunk. It's actually Bonnie, um, because you have the point was to come sort of rescue Vegapunk, right? But I don't care about Vegapunk. Like I really don't care. So that therefore I'm not emotionally invested in that part of the story because I don't care about Vegapunk. I don't care about the other
I,
Vegapunks.
I
Do you
guess it
get
was
what
meant to be
I
the
mean?
heart. I think initially it was probably meant to be not necessarily a heart, but I guess every arc there's like who's meant to be the heart of the story. Like
No, but
maybe
yeah,
one,
because
it
the
was like the
goal,
kids.
the heart of the story is always connected to the heart of the story is always connected to the goal of the story. Do you see what I'm saying?
Of
So
the what? The
the
so
heart
you
of
say
Water
the
Seven, pardon?
you say the heart of the story is connected to the what?
The heart of the story is always connected to the goal of the story or the
Okay.
goal of the show.
Is
As
it
for
the goal
example,
of the? Are you talking about the overall like story or the story for the arc?
the arc that's
Okay.
happening. Yeah, yeah. So for example, in Water Seven, the heart of was
Right.
Robin, and the goal was to rescue Robin. In Egghead Island, the goal is to
What about in
rescue.
Wano?
Um,
Would
in
it be the
Wano, the
kids?
goal the goal was to save Wano from Kaido, the tyrant. But the heart
Okay.
the heart wasn't
Was
connected.
like the
The,
people.
the heart was
Well,
was there, but it wasn't. The heart was meant to be. The goal was obviously to defeat Kaido so that we can free Wano.
so yeah,
But the
to
heart,
liberate Wano. Yeah.
the central heart, like the key figure that we were meant to care for was Momonosuke and the people of
Okay.
Wano. And the people of Wano,
Momonosuke on people Wano, and some of
yeah,
the other kids like would
pardon?
you say the kids counted like with Toko
Yeah,
and
so Momonosuke represented the people of Wano. Momonosuke was the avatar that represents what Wano was going through. So you can include the other kids in there as well.
okay.
That had a bit of what thingy. And but yet the problem is I didn't connect with what's his name. I didn't connect with Momonosuke. Although
You
he was
didn't.
meant to be the heart, no, 100% no. Although he was meant to be the heart of the story, I didn't connect with him. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's been the problem with post time skip, is that we don't have a central figure that us the audience can connect with unless it's especially since it's not a straw hat. And I'm not saying it has to be a straw hat for us to care, but it's the fact that it could be other people. It could be other people, but the thing is, I didn't care about the other people unless it was the straw hats. And but also
All
you
right.
can
Let's
give
go
us.
to
It
pre
doesn't
time
have to
skip.
be straw hats,
Let's
but
go to pre time skip. So
yeah,
do you think it's a bit so it's easier to do in pre time skip because for a lot of the straw hats, it's going to be the introduction and they may
mm,
be the focus of that arc because
yeah, 100%.
yeah, they're the focus. But then what about some of obviously we can't keep on doing that. But what about some of the arcs in pre time skip that the main character wasn't the focus? So let's
Like
say
like what?
Skypiea.
Skypiea. Skypiea was a good art. Yeah, Skypiea. Do you know what it is? Do you know what's funny? Yeah, because Skypiea is just like Dressrosa, right? It's just like Wano. We don't have the heart of the story. We don't have that person that represents the heart of the story. That's also connected to the goal of the story. The goal of the story was simply to banish Enel and to save the people of
To be
Skypiea.
fair, that's pretty much almost every single arc is basically liberating the island.
Of course, but the heart of it, what really makes the heart stand out is the heart. Who is the heart of that story connected to the goal. Do you get what I'm saying? And pre-Timeskip had heart and the goal at the same time. They were connected and it worked. Do you see what I'm saying?
I can agree with that with some of the arcs that are where the straw hat or one of the straw hats may be the focus.
And it also worked in Marineford because do you know why it worked with Marineford? Even though the heart of the story was Ace, like the heart of the story was Ace
because of Luffy.
Because of Luffy. Do you see what I'm saying?
But what about the other ones? What about the other arcs where a straw hat isn't directly connected, like a Skypiea?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say that Skypiea is pretty much the same as Wano, Dressrosa. We don't have a straw hat there to care. Do you see what I'm saying? We don't have a straw hat there to care. But it worked. I feel like Skypiea worked, the execution worked, the storyline worked. It had the tension that we needed. It had a lot of stakes. It just worked for me. Do you see what I'm saying? But with Wano not only was Wano lacking heart, but it was also lacking sort of like that execution to make the story stand out. It just felt so chaotic. Like there's just the storyline just felt so chaotic. It's like, dude, it was trying to do too many things. It was trying to do too many things. Blah blah blah. There were too many. It was trying to have too many characters, too many
moving
characters.
options.
So it had Yamato.
Too many moving. I don't think it did. I think
it had Yamato. It had Momonosuke. It had the 9 scabbards. It had the.
It had a lot of characters. It did have a lot of characters.
It did have a lot of characters, but the problem is, it wasn't even that it had really a lot of characters. It's just that we didn't connect with these characters, and we didn't feel like, for me anyway.
I think some people did with the scabbards. I think the scabbards.
Yeah, some people. But what I'm saying is, like, I couldn't even empathize with. I couldn't even connect with Luffy wanting to rescue the people of Wano. I didn't feel it, but I connected with Luffy wanting to help the people of Skypiea. But I didn't feel. I
didn't even really get that, to be fair.
I didn't feel that in Dressrosa. I didn't feel that in.
I don't think I got that from Skypiea. Like Luffy helping the people. Like, to be fair, I think it depends on who you're speaking to, because I feel from your point of view, I think I understand
what you're trying to say. It's simple. Post-Timeskip has been controversial.
Yeah, but I don't agree with you in terms of, because when it comes to a lot of the people from the people of the islands that Luffy liberated, I'm not saying I don't care, but I don't care that much, whether that was pre-Timeskip or post-Timeskip, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care.
But that's the thing. We cared because Luffy cared. The whole point.
No, but I'm saying it's not weird. Like, I don't care too much. Like, because it feels the same. Like, not in a bad way. Skypiea, like, freeing the people of Skypiea feels the same as freeing the people in Wano. It doesn't. It's not, one for me isn't better or worse. It's just
that's why I'm comparing Skypiea, for example, with the post-Timeskip arc, because
I don't think there's any arc pre-Timeskip where I cared about the people that dearly, really.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily about the people. It's just the fact that. But it's just the fact that Luffy. Oh, you're talking
the people that I probably cared about the most was Dressrosa, because
I didn't care about the people of Dressrosa because the people of Dressrosa were idiots.
I thought they were idiots. Yeah,
it's their idioticness that took.
The reason why I think it's more impactful is just for the fact that, for every arc, I can say there's things that I cared about, which that's kind of crazy, but overall, I don't care too tough. I don't think a lot of people who read One Piece care all that much, because at the end of the day, it's a shonen, and a lot of the things that they're interested in.
Care much? What do you mean?
Okay, what I mean, like, we all care about what's happening to the people of every island, right? But I don't think it's a massive thing. You know what I mean? I think the main things that you kind of want from this arc that people kind of tend to care about the most is the fighting and the law. So you want to care. So you want to find out about
this is where people think. Yeah, people think they care about the fights. The people only think that they care about the fights, but the only reason why they care about the fights is because of the characters. Like it's like they're jumping straight into say, "Oh, I can't wait to get to the fight, get to it." But you will only enjoy the fight,
Of course,
especially you only enjoy the fight if the story is good.
because there
That's
needs
one
to
of
be
the things that's
context.
been lacking post time skip. That's one
Yeah,
for me.
but I don't. No, I hear what you're saying that these fights need context. You can't just throw a really flashy fight and expect us to think it's good if there's no real context or build up to it. There needs to be that. But the thing is that I don't think have we ever talked about in the group chat about the people of these countries really on pre-time or post-time. I don't think we've ever had conversations about the people really.
Yeah, but you know, it's I don't know, like maybe you. What I'm trying to say is, it's not the people. That's why, because we can never care about the people. You know what I'm saying? That's why what Oda does is he tries to put the burden of the people in one single character. For example, Momonosuke, like the pain of the people of Wano, he tries to put in in a single
And then
character
that's
so
where
so
Throw
that we
Cell
can
being
connect
Rebecca, for example.
Rebecca so that we can connect with the characters. Now, pre-time skip and post-time skip. Pre-time skip, these characters were the Straw Hats. We fell in love with
But
the
it
Straw.
wasn't. But no. But it wasn't all pre-time skip. It was just a couple of arcs.
Yeah, no, but it was all the bigger arcs, all the good arcs. It's like for me personally, like all of the arcs, I think all of the
Fairs, fairs,
arcs were
fairs.
fine.
That's fair.
All of the arcs pre-time skip thingy were fine by me. I think what's missing is like obviously you said that pre-time skip Oda can't do that for every single he can't do that sort of like it gets
You can't
boring
have a
if
tie-in.
only the straw hats. No, not even the fighting. You
No, I
said
said tie-in, tie-in.
but then
Like not every arc has to be directly tied into one of the Straw Hats. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to say.
not tied into all of the straw. And I'm saying it's fine. And I'm saying it's fine because the principle here, the fundamental principle denominator isn't necessarily the straw hats, but it's good character. It's characters that we care about. And the thing is, I just think that we Oda didn't do enough to make us care for Rebecca. Number one, we cared for Vivi. Like I really cared for what Vivi was going through. Like I felt it. Do you see what I'm saying? I felt for her pain.
Do you think
Um,
you felt it a bit more because we spent a little bit of time with her?
yeah, we spent a little bit of yeah, that's all part of it as well. That's part of it as well. Her suffering and everything.
But to be
That's
fair, we spent quite a bit of time with Momonosuke as well.
yeah,
You could
we
even
spend a
argue we spent
lot
more
of
time.
time with Momonos. Yeah, we spend a lot of time, but
You could even
for
argue it was
me
more time,
personally,
innit?
probably yeah, exactly. But for me, like one of the reasons why it's one who doesn't work for me is because of just like the connection with the character isn't there. Like I don't sympathize with Momo Square because I think Momo's a pussy. That's one of the reasons anyway. That's not the main reason. And I'm saying like the thing is, I didn't even like Momonosuke's character arc. It wasn't impactful for me. It didn't hit me. Just the fact that oh yeah, I'm only a little kid. I'm a little kid who's gone through, who's been transported in 20 years into the future. I didn't have time to grow, and now I'm being sort of trying to, I don't know, trying to find people to help me go back to my home country in order to rescue them.
I didn't really see it like that.
Or no, or
But
whatever. Huh?
no. I mean, I think that's what it was probably meant to be, but I didn't see it like that because Kinemon was the leader of the operation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so exactly. And so part
It
of
wasn't
that,
really Momonosuke.
yeah, see, exactly. And so the problem with that is
Like you start
Kinemon
to
took
see a
the
bit
shine
more
away
from
from
Momonosuke.
Momo.
I think Kinemon took some shine. Yeah,
He took the shine away from Momo. Do you see what I'm saying? It became like it's Kinemon pushing this thing. Oh, revenge! We're gonna go revenge, and then Momonosuke took a backseat. In Alabasta, it was all Vivi. There wasn't anybody. There wasn't anybody
I
other
think it's
than Vivi.
difficult because
You know what I'm saying?
Momonosuke is now a child,
You
so
can work
it's
with that though.
you can do it.
You can
You can
work with
do
that.
it, but
You can
then it's
you
just
can work with
easier
that.
because Vivi is an adult and
No, but
she's
no, you can
and
work with
Momonosuke is a child.
Momonosuke being a
But
kid.
yeah, I
The
understand. I'm
fact
not
that he's a kid,
disagreeing.
look at it. There was so much potential. Momo had so much potential. Imagine you're a kid. Your father has been killed, and you were rescued by your mom sacrificed her life to send you 20 years in the future, and she died for it. Do you see what I'm saying? And
Do
she
you think they
died
should have
for
made
it.
Momonosuke a bit older then?
Not really, not really. For me, you could have made it. You could have make it work. Even the
Because the
fact.
thing is, like, do you know the reason why I agree but disagree with you? The reason why I agree with you, no, the reason I disagree with you is just based off his age. And even though I don't care about age too much in One Piece, um, if you look at people who are Momonosuke's age that we've seen throughout the series, whether that's a flashback or in present, they're actually kids and they actually don't have any power and they actually don't really that they feel like actual kids, if that makes sense. Not like in another series where a 10-year-old can literally be the strongest or have all this wisdom or this and that, you know what I mean? Like Gon and Killua from Hana Hana aren't comparable to like Momonosuke, even though the ages are a little bit different. Like do you know what I mean? It's different.
No, you're making it seem like I want. I don't. It doesn't matter to me if it doesn't matter to me whether it doesn't matter to me if Momonosuke was a. I don't need Momonosuke to be an adult or to be strong or
No,
have
I know, but you
wisdom.
want him to have a bit more drive about him, right?
Yeah, I want him to have a bit more. I want him to
But
have a bit
it's
more
difficult because
agency. I
he's
want him to be
eight.
a bit more active. No, he could still be. He could still have that agency. He could still be that active sort of character and have some form of a drive. I just think you could make it work. Or Kinemon just had to take a backseat. Although I think I get what you're trying to say. What can Oda really do with a kid? How can
With
you
an
make
8-year-old.
him with
I
an
think he done a
8-year-old?
lot. Like, but the thing that I agree with what you're saying. I think he should have like put Momonosuke more into the driving seat, but it's difficult because he's 8. So Kinemon is basically represents Momonosuke's will, but it doesn't. But he doesn't at the same time. You know what I mean? It's difficult, but I don't think he done bad with Momonosuke. Like he managed to get a bit more shine in Onigashima, but then in previous arcs, like in actual Zoe and Dressrosa, Punk Hazard, and whatever arcs that he was in,
There's many
like we
things.
needed a little bit more.
The kid throughout his journey with Luffy, throughout his journey with Luffy, teach the kid how to what it means to be a king, what it means to be a shogun. You know, teach him, let him go through some sort of realizations and things like that. Just let him take small actions. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Um,
fair. I think they tried it, but I don't. I guess the
It
execution
just
wasn't
it
always
didn't
there.
work. I'm not saying he didn't try. It didn't
Yeah,
work. It didn't
it
work.
didn't
It
work.
didn't work for me. There's a reason why it's Wano is controversial. There's a reason for it. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why it's
One of
controversial.
those controversial to you, and every arc is controversial to
Oh,
me. I've
you're
heard.
not on Twitter, are you? You're definitely not
No.
on Twitter. Yeah,
What are
exactly.
people saying?
One was a controversial arc. Like yeah, it's actually one of those arcs that's split the fans as well. You know what I mean? Like, but if
What are
you're on
fans
Twitter,
saying?
you would know. Hmm?
What do fans say about Wano?
Yeah, a lot of people, you calling me a hater, but a lot of people think it
You are
was
here,
shit.
bro.
Yeah, but a lot of people think it was shit. I'm just generalizing. I can't remember the specific, but one of this a lot of the thing one of the specific things was like how Kaido was a shit villain, how there was no tension in the arc. About Luffy's power ups. People usually enjoy the first act. People usually say the first act was fine. I think the first act was boring, but people usually say, "Oh, the first act was okay, was good." Yeah, people say the first act was good, but it was really Onigashima that flopped everything. For me, the reason
I
why
can see
the
that.
final act of Onigashima didn't work is because the first act and the second act and the whatever other acts there were before Onigashima is because they didn't work. So people saying that
I
the
feel that.
first act was good. For me, the reason why it failed is because the first act and the following acts were bad. You can't get to a good climax. You can't get to a to a bad climax with a good first act. There were problems. That means the problems were in the first act, in the second act, in the first. I think one has 4 acts. I don't know. But the reason why Onigashima didn't work is because the previous acts didn't work. That's how it works. You see what I'm saying?
I
And
think
then
I think
You
that
will
works.
find flaws. Not that fair enough. But I'm just saying, for me, I think the reason why Onigashima didn't work is because the flaws were there in the first act. For example, like you mentioned, Kinemon taking the shine out of Momo. Momo himself not being, for me anyway, Momo himself for me not being that character that I connected with, who represents the pain of the Wano people, etc. I didn't feel anything, but it was
Okay,
more targeted
I
towards
understand,
and
but
all of
I understand. I think the only character who's actually managed to successfully like be very much endearing and very much where you back her beef or back their beef is Vivi. But I don't think there's any other character who's actually like that. Who's actually like in One Piece. I don't think there's
What do you
any.
mean?
I don't think there's been a character like that.
Like Vivi.
Like you said about Momo, in terms of you didn't really because he represents the people of One Eye. You didn't really connect to tough. I think apart from Vivi, there's no other character who's like that.
Who's managed to make me connect with the character and the people that
Yeah,
he represents. Yeah, because it flopped because if he
like that's pre-time skip and post-time skip. That's what I'm
yeah, but
basically trying to say.
you're trying to say other than Vivi.
Yeah, because
Because pre-time skip there was only Vivi. The rest were the Straw Hats. I mean,
true.
apart from Sky Island, the Sky Island, there was no, there really wasn't that central heart character. But that's what I was trying to show you. That's what I was trying to draw the comparison between Skypiea and the post time skip arc. Is you don't necessarily need that central character who has heart. Do you see what I'm saying? As long as the storyline is just good and it's just well executed, it's simple. You can enjoy it for what it is, and especially because it had a lot of good lore um in retrospect, you could enjoy it because the story for me it worked. It worked for me. The setup was good, the middle was good, and then the climax of the fight was also good. The stakes were high. There were a lot of tension. All of those things for me worked. The characters of Wiper. I like the character of Wiper. And that's pretty much the character, probably the only character. I mean, I think maybe Wiper was supposed to represent that sort of heart character, and he worked, and I liked him as well. And the reason, but what I'm saying is, an arc like Skypiea is meant to be quite the same with, for example, Wano, because it didn't involve a straw hat, but it worked, and there wasn't really that character with heart other than Viper, but it still worked. Do you see what I'm saying? And also the fact that it was slightly shorter than Wano, and it still worked. Do you see what I'm saying? So it can work. You can make it work. But Skypiea wasn't
I don't care about
controversial.
Wiper, man. I can't lie.
You know what I'm
I didn't
saying?
give a fuck. I don't give a
Skypiea
fuck
wasn't.
about
But you
Wiper.
don't care about Wiper. I don't
I don't care
much.
about these, man.
Yeah, I don't much care about Wiper. But for me, Skypiea worked where Wano didn't work. Do you see what I'm saying? It just didn't work as a
But
story as a
the
whole.
thing is, the thing is, some of the stuff you're saying, it's not that I necessarily think you're wrong about, but then it feels very biased because I don't think you think anything in post time skip is good at all.
When you say anything, like I'm talking
Because
about,
okay,
when you
in
say
terms of
anything, because
arcs,
I like
what
certain
arc?
parts of the art. I
What
like certain parts,
is
but
there one
overall,
arc? Is there one arc in post time skip you think is good? Because I don't think I've ever heard you say that you think this arc post time skip is good. Yeah, there's
okay,
going to be certain elements of the arc
yeah, yeah,
that you
no,
think is
no,
good,
yeah,
but
no,
you've
you're,
never
yeah,
said
you're,
anything. So it
yeah, you're
feels
100.
very biased. So it feels like it doesn't matter
Oh
what
no,
will go on.
no,
It
I
feels like
hear
it
you.
doesn't matter what will go on. That it like you know what I mean?
Well, hopefully, Oda can prove me wrong, but he's not trying to prove me wrong. He's just trying to do the
Because
right
we've had
thing.
Fishman Island, we've had Punk Hazard, we've had Dressrosa, Zoe, Whole Cake Island, um, and whatever. Yeah, but you don't think any of them are good, do you?
No, I don't think any of them are good. No, 100%.
So,
And
but do you kind of see where I'm coming from a little bit? It's like
yeah, you can think that. I
it's a
can't.
hunt. It's like a complete. It's a complete. Look, pre-time skip is godly. Post-time skip is complete trash. But you'd think there was like a complete, complete like older, like he's a different person. like, doesn't it? Let's use Naruto as an example. So there's Naruto and then there's Shippuden, but then in terms of the manga, there is an actual. There's not a difference. It's just a time skip. There isn't a. It's not two different series. A lot of people think the original series when Naruto was still on the younger side is very good, but Shippuden is a bit iffy. But then if you think about it, Naruto and the beginning of Naruto Shippuden still very much alike, if that makes sense in terms of the storytelling, in terms of the quality, in terms of a lot of things, you know what I mean? But it feels like whatever people think is bad about Naruto is kind of it comes along towards the end of the series, right? But it feels like for you, as soon as post time skip hit, the first episode or first chapter post time skip is a whole completely different story.
No, that's not true because when the war arc finished and I was excited, my heart was beating for a story like never before. Like wow, I can't wait for the break to finish. I want to see this show. Blah blah blah. We went back to Sabodi. My heart is beating. Yeah, yeah, this is good. And then we go to Fishman Island. We go to Fishman Island, and I'm just reading it small, and I finished Fishman Island. I'm like, okay, Fishman Island was back then. I didn't use the word shit, but Fishman Island was all right. I think the next arc is going to be good. I'm waiting. What was the next island?
Punk Hazard.
Punk Hazard. I'm like,
That's the
yeah,
word.
like this is going to be good. The first chapter was good. We're introduced the first chapter already. The Shurats are in trouble. They get captured by CC. Oh, who's CC? There's mystery. There's mystery. There's all the good stuff happening, and then but then as the story is going on, it's like where's the stakes in the story? You start seeing certain elements in the story. It's like what the hell is this? Like blah 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 blah. And you're like, Punk Hazard was okay. The next arc will be good. And then you go to the next arc was Dressrosa. Like I was waiting for Dressrosa because I thought
I think
Dressrosa
the
was
show's good.
that big arc. It had Don Flamingo. But again, the reason why Dressrosa wasn't good for me because it was missing heart. It was missing heart. I didn't
That's okay.
care. I didn't care. See, Don Flamingo was a good villain. Yeah, I didn't care for I didn't care for Dressrosa. Like I didn't. There was no character there that I could.
But I can't take what you're saying as not that I can't take it as serious, but what if you don't like anything?
No, bro. It's not. It's not true. If I don't like anything, how did I like pre-time skip? I told you
Yeah,
the
but
reason.
then it feels very. It doesn't even feel like
No, that's because the same
it's
problem
not
that was
gradual.
the same problem that was plaguing Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa is the same thing that's
Do you
plaguing
think there's any?
Wano.
Do you think there's any problems with pre-time skip?
Oh yeah, but the greatness of it, sort of the
Tell me
the
some of the.
greatness
Tell me
of
some
it.
of. Tell me some of the faults of pre-time skip.
Tell you some of the what?
Tell me some of the faults. I mean, some of the faults. Yeah, some of the problems pre-time skip may have had.
The problem that pre-time I can't think of
Anything,
any.
any arc. So, like, from my point of view, you talk about pre-time skip like it's a flawless piece of work, but the first moment we get into post time skip, this is absolute garbage.
No, that's not true. Like I said, I
But
was
that no,
reading it.
but that's how you speak about it. Like when you speak about
No,
One
I
Piece,
speak
that's
about
almost
it.
like how you speak about it.
I'm not. No, that's not true. I'm speaking about it because the arc has ended, and I'm giving my overall opinion of the arc. So I'm not. It's not. It's not like I was. You have to remember. I was excited for every new arc. I was excited for the first chapter, for the second chapter, and it kept going. I was excited. I want to know what's happening. Oh, Fujitora is on the scene. Oh, I want to know. Oh, what Don Flamingo is a celestial. So that's not the case that when the first chapter drops, oh, this is shit. No, it wasn't like that. But now, like after
But
Wano,
it
your
feels
argument,
like
that
that
argument, no,
because
but
it feels like you're going in with
No,
with a
it's
chip on
not.
your shoulder. It feels
No,
like you've always had a chip on your shoulder.
now, yes. After Wano, yes. In every arc, I'm going with a chip on my shoulder. Now, yes, but not before. Because Wano was the culmination of all the flaws of Pink Hazard, Fisherman Island, Dressrosa, and I saw it in Wano. And that's what like destroyed me. What is Wano is the arc that perplexed me the most. Like, how can you how can you write so good pre-Timeskip and then you write so shit? How can you write so bad like this? How can the writing be so poor? It perplexed me. The arc perplexed me, like it confused me. I was shocked.
I don't see it,
Shocked.
man. I just don't see it. Like, I
I was
get it. I just think the way I just think you're
Now I swear
exaggerating
to
so
God, The
much, man.
Voice. Yeah, I'm watching The Voice now. I
With
don't
the TV show,
the TV show. I don't watch it, but I'm looking at it right now. But it's like a lot of the black characters. They always go to William, or whatever his name is. You know who Willie I am, or whatever his name. What's his name?
Jesus, Will I am.
Yeah, Will I am. Like I've realized that it's like all of the black singers. They're all like because they have to choose in it. Because like for example, if the if for example the judges want they want one of the singers, and then
They'll turn
if
around.
Will I am wants them, they're just gonna choose Will I am because he's black. Especially if they're black, if the performers are black, they'll just go to Will I am. And I hate it. And it just pisses me.
What does that got to do with One Piece?
It has nothing to do with One Piece, but it's on TV right now, so I'm bringing it up.
Look,
You see
that's
what I'm saying?
normal though. You tend to gravitate to
No,
things
you
that you
gravitate
relate to.
towards. No, you don't gravitate towards race. You gravitate towards
No,
who
yes,
you
no,
think.
yes, you do. No,
No,
yes, you
hold
do.
on. You don't
No,
gravitate towards race.
no.
I didn't even
I'm
finish
not.
my comment. You see,
Yeah, but
you're about to say something that I did not say. You're about to make a judgment on what I haven't said. I'm saying that you don't you make your choice not on race. You make your choice on who
but I
of
wasn't gonna
these
say
singers
race.
you
I
think
didn't
will
say
help
race
you.
though. I said you sometimes you gravitate to things that you can relate to or you're familiar with. And if you listen to Will I
That's
Am,
stupid.
so if you that's normal. That's a
No, okay,
common
that's
thing
not
within the
stupid. But
world.
you gravitate towards these
It's the
singers. They want
same
to gravitate
reason.
towards
It's the
style,
same reason
towards style,
why
towards style.
more black people are in relationships with other black people. More white people are in relationships with white
What?
people.
I'm not
We
even
tend to
talking
do
about.
things. No, but
I'm not
we
even
tend
talking
to.
about that. All of these singers.
No,
No, you
no,
have
but
to.
no,
The
but
singers. It's the singers. I'm
no, no.
talking.
Yeah, but let me finish. I'm not. It's just an example. I'm just saying. You just you pick things that you're gonna be a bit more comfortable with. If you listened to Will I Am, but you didn't listen to I don't know some of the other judges that are on the deck. Tell me some of the other judges.
I don't know their name. The only one here is I remember Ollie Murs because he won the X
See,
Factor.
so I'm not saying your opinion is void, but you don't even know who the other singers are.
No, but what
If you
I've
don't know
seen
who they
though. No,
are,
but
but if
no,
you
but
don't know who they are, how can you
but why
comment?
is it? But why is it all the singers, all the black singers, they only choose Will I am?
How many times have you watched The Voice?
Couple times.
Shut up, man. Hey, get back to One Piece.
Okay, fair enough. My argument isn't solid simply because I don't really have an argument to make because I haven't seen enough.
Damn, you're such a hater. Oh my
Because I
god.
haven't seen enough shows. But every time I see
Hey,
it,
it's
the black
non-existent,
singers
fam.
they always
Hey, you see
gravitate
how
towards
my man is a hater? Hey,
Willie
you see how
fam.
my man's a hater?
Now
He
hold on.
hates everything.
Hold on. Every time I see it though, the black singers they always gravitate towards
Yeah,
Willie
and
fam.
so
I should call him Willie fam. They always, but I don't like that. I just hate things like this. I hate it.
and so.
Well, it's just
Hey,
my
let's talk about
opinion.
something else, man. Let's talk
Yeah.
about.
You're right. Every from now after Wano, I've gone into Egged Island with reservations. You know what I'm saying? That I don't believe this arc is going to be good. For example, so the main conflict, the goal where the story is going is really to get off the island, to rescue, to make sure that Vegapunk doesn't get assassinated. Yeah, and I don't even care about Vegapunk. I'm more interested in the things that's outside of that, and that is obviously the backstory. We've seen the backstory and Kuma coming to save everyone, hopefully, and Saturn and all of that's the only thing that's really good. Now, isn't if the central conflict isn't engaging and isn't appealing to you, how is the arc overall going to be appealing? If the side thing, if the subplots, if the secondary things are more interesting, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you know what? The way I see it, if you really want to make something look bad, you can make it look bad. I can make the best things look bad, and that's what I feel like
No,
you do. You go
nobody.
into you go into things trying to make anything and everything look bad if you really wanted to. That's what you do.
No, that's not
And I'm
what
not.
I do.
But the thing is,
No,
I don't even like.
it's like
I said,
this. Let me give, since you like to give
yeah,
examples. Yeah.
let me
Let me
say,
give an example.
but let me
If
just finish.
all right,
I
cool.
don't necessarily always think the stuff you're saying is wrong, but the thing that I don't like about how you say things is that you're going in with a chip on your shoulder and you're going in as a hater. But I'm not saying the stuff you're saying is wrong, but I'm saying the mindset you have going into things is not necessarily wrong. Which everyone has their own ways of interpreting things, but just let it go a little bit, man. Just you don't always have
No,
to go in with like such
yeah,
a hater
no,
mentality.
I can't let it go. Let me give you an example here. Imagine if you're a guy or you're a girl and
Right.
you've been in relationships where you trusted the guy, blah blah blah, and then the guy always does you wrong. That like I'm not talking about like I'm don't question the choices that the girl has made. Also, it's probably your fault then, since you're always going out with the type of people that always hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Even though that always hurt. Don't make that argument, because that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, imagine you go into a relationship and then you get hurt. The girl eventually, every relationship that he gets to, he's going to be more careful. He's going to be more wary. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how it is. What's happened here with One Piece and Wano is it was a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I loved One Piece. It was a relationship. And I fell in love with it from, since, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, now I've entered this arc. It was disappointing.
Why,
And
why do you even still read
well,
One
hold
Piece
on.
then?
I'm making my point, and I go into another arc, disappointing, and then one was the arc that was like, you know what? I don't ever want to go into relationships anymore. So if a girl was like, this relationship really killed her, it's like, I will never go into another relationship ever again. And then, but if a guy is trying to hit on her, how do you think he's going to react? Nah, I'm not really sure, you know. We'll talk, let's talk, but I'm not really gonna jump into it until I really believe. Do you see what I'm saying? You're always gonna have your doubts because you've been hurt before. And that's how it is with me and One Piece. Wano has hurt me. See, when I talk about Wano, it's not just Wano itself has hurt me, but it's like I've waited for so long for you to give me something good, and the hype that Wano was, it just you know what I mean? It's just crazy. So it's like, yeah, no. Every arc now is I'm gonna have to. So you're gonna have to gain my trust again. Like One Piece has to gain my trust again. It's one of those things.
Why do you carry on reading or watching it then if you hate it so much?
That's nonsense.
Drop
That's
it.
nonsense. The argument that you've just made is a stupid argument. I'm sorry. It's a silly.
No,
You
all right,
can
okay.
never say
This is
that.
this is this is the way I'm seeing it. If you're gonna complain about something week after week after week, and you
I'm not
never say
complaining week
anything,
after
no,
week.
but when you know in the group chat and in the streams, there's always something you're complaining about. And if you're gonna complain about something so much, you don't need to carry on watching it. You
No,
can just
I
leave
don't
it alone.
complain. I don't complain. When we're
You
doing the
complain
reviews,
all the
no,
time,
when
bro.
we do the reviews, I have things to praise it. I praise it. I have things to praise it about. But when I see something that's bad, I have to call it out. I have to call it out. For example, in Egghead Island, when we know that Zoro when we know that Luffy has ACOC and we know that Zoro has ACOC and Zoro has fought a Lunarian and he knows that these people have tough skin and then you're fighting Seraphins and your comrades, your Nakama are in danger and then you're not even using the power that will destroy the Seraphins quickly and you're just leaving it like that and you're trying to manufacture conflict, you're trying to manufacture fake conflict in order to get us to care when look at what, like, you have a power that could literally end the conflict straight away, but you don't want to in order to build up some fake tension. Do you see what I'm saying? That annoys me. So if I see something like that, I have to call it out. You have a power to defeat the enemy, but you choose not to do it because of some stupid reason. That's one of my problems. That's a problem, and I have to call it out.
First.
And I see them every single chapter, almost every single chapter has things like this, especially post time skips has things like this: fake tension, fake um conflict. You know, no stakes. You know what I'm saying? No stakes in the story. Like when characters, I'm not saying you need characters to die in order for the story to be good because pre-time skip had no death other than thingy Marineford, but I still cared and I still love the story. You see what I'm saying? But we know the power that loss had. It's not even the power of loss. It's just the power of knowing that things are actually serious. That there's risks involved, and that someone could die. Do you see what I'm saying? There's that someone could die. You see what I'm saying? So, but when I see things like that, I have to call it out. I have to call it out. When you see stupid things that has happened in Wano, whereby the Onigashima is falling, you know, Onigashima. I swear there's a movie that sounds like something is falling. London Bridge is falling. I don't know if it's a movie, but it's like people say it a lot. It's like, so it's a cartoon thing or whatever song.
London Bridge. That's
London Bridge is falling down.
it's like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah, nursery rhyme.
But
So when you have Onigashima falling and the people don't even know about it, where is the tension in that? Like, how am I supposed to care? What am I supposed to care about when Onigashima is falling and the citizens don't even know about it?
What else? What else do you hear about Wano? Tell me.
Oh, there's a lot. Like, I haven't even reread it. That's the funny things. I don't know when I'm gonna reread it because if I do, John, if I
You know, when you reread stuff, do you actually reread the whole thing, or do you just reread certain parts?
No, I'm saying, yeah, no, I'm saying I haven't, I don't do
No, I'm
much
asking.
readings. No,
I'm
but if
asking
I
like in
do,
general.
no, if I do, I'll probably be reading small parts. But I'm trying to make an effort that if I'm like I have reread Dressrosa, but that was like
What?
maybe,
Really? You read the whole thing again?
yeah, I reread the whole thing again. Not recently though. I'm saying, but
Why?
sometimes I do. Huh?
Why?
Why did I reread Dressrosa?
Yeah.
No, because I just wanted to. I just wanted to. You know what I mean? It
Just
was one of
no.
those
Yeah.
arcs that
Just
I
for fun.
anticipated. It's
Mm.
one of those arcs that I anticipated to be good, but it wasn't great. You know what I mean? It was a 6. Wano was a 5. Um um yeah, all the people told me, oh, Zo's such a great arc. Zo's just Zo
So
yeah,
just a skip. It's just
yeah,
a stepping stone arc, no?
yeah, that was just another 5. You know, Whole Cake Island had potential as well. It was different. It had a different structure, but
What do you think? What's
the
Whole Cake
major
Island
the
out of
major
10?
problem with Whole Cake Island was the lack of consequences.
Yeah.
So again,
I have a problem with Whole Cake Island.
stakes was also
I want to jump in about Whole Cake Island. Like I've I've major problems with Whole Cake Island, but this is some of the problems I have with it. It's like it's not it's One Piece problems, if that makes sense. It's like a problem within the whole story of One Piece and how
right,
Oda does
right.
things
Yeah.
more so than the actual arc itself. I
Yeah,
don't
just
have
give an
any.
example, yeah.
So it's with Sanji. So the arc is about the arc is about Sanji, right?
Of course it's like
Um,
that. Of course.
so the arc is about Sanji, and they dive deep into Sanji. But there's certain elements that I'm like, this would be so much more impactful if the setup beforehand was there, or if the groundwork was there. But because there's no groundwork, it doesn't really
Like
fit
what?
where it's
Like
meant to
what
hit.
groundwork, for example? Were
So,
you
for example, with the cooking, this is the problem with Zoro as well, but less of a problem, more of a problem with Sanji. So with Sanji, Sanji has essentially managed to subdue Big Mom. He's essentially managed. That's meant to be a feat, right? All that was meant to be a big thing. It can't be seen as a big thing because I don't know what to scale it to. If Sanji done this in pre-time skip, I would believe you. If he does post time skip, I would believe you because there's nothing to scale it to. If that makes sense, there's no. It's not a feat to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Another thing is that it's about him, but it doesn't. He doesn't have to be swinging. He doesn't have to be fighting for him to have a good arc. You know what I mean? He didn't fight anyone. This is a battle shonen. He didn't fight anyone. The main character, who's also a fighter, didn't fight anyone. He cooked. There's nothing wrong with that because a big aspect of Sanji's character is
He cooked
cooking.
without cooking.
That's a big aspect of Sanji's character is cooking, which is fine. But I've already highlighted the fact that the cooking was not good because you don't know what to scale it to. If Sanji created a cake that could knock out Big Mom pre-time skip, I would believe you. I would believe his cooking skills are good enough that he could knock out Big Mom with a cake pre-time skip. But because there's no world of cooking in One Piece, I don't know how of a feat this is. I don't know how. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like I remember pre-time skip, or during post-time skip during the 2 year break, Sanji has now gone off to train or quote unquote train on the island with Ivankov and Co. Right,
Yeah.
and we find out he's gone to find out about all these ingredients, all these different ways to cook. What, like, where is that? What happened to that?
Yeah, because Oda don't care about the Straw Hats no more. It's only Luffy.
That stuff didn't come to anything. Like, I don't know because there's no real world of cooking. There's no world of cooking. So whenever there's any type of cooking feat, there's nothing to scale it to. So I just think it's whatever.
I just think that surely and truly Oda does not rate Sanji.
I don't think he rates Sanji that
because he tried to give Sanji the same arc as Robin. He tried to give Sanji the same arc as Robin. You know,
I don't think it worked as well. Like,
that's what I'm saying. He tried to give Sanji the same arc,
because
and it flopped.
I don't think Hulking Island was bad. I actually still think it's a good arc, but there's still a lot of major problems. Like, for example, I don't think it should be in Sanji's character. Like, I understand we, the audience, don't know Sanji's full-on backstory and we don't know how his family is. But it doesn't feel like this is something that Sanji will do, that he's going to just abandon the Straw Hats to go off and do this, you know what I mean? Like, I know his initial plan.
You couldn't believe it, right? It wasn't believable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't believable.
I know his initial plan was to go off and handle business and come back. I know it was the initial plan, but the moment he got there, he realized this is my thing. I'm doing this. I'm staying here. That doesn't feel like Sanji should be in a moment like in a place like that where they are in the story.
Yeah,
if this happened pre-time skip, yes.
Maybe
if this happened post-time skip, it's a little less believable. You'll be thinking, you believe Luffy will be the Pirate King. You believe in all of your teammates and all of your friends.
What you all went through. Like,
exactly.
For Robin,
Look what you've done
for Robin. It made sense, and for Robin, it was deserved, and it was deserved because we didn't know. It was still a mystery, you know.
Exactly.
Every crew she goes into, she leaves, and the crew ends up dying.
You know what I mean? Like with Robin, we talk about it forever on why it worked, but then with Sanji, don't forget Sanji. You've gone to save Nami, you've gone to save Robin, you've gone to save all these characters, and you're in a situation like this.
And now you've come up in the same
you're
situation.
even the driving force for some of these characters.
Mm.
Getting saved. You know what I mean? You've done a lot.
And you're in the same
Robbie. You've done a
situation.
lot, and you're in the same situation. But now you don't believe your friends can help you. So now you've decided to go do it yourself. The same thing that Robin and Nami done. You want to now do the same thing as them. This is post timeskip, not pre timeskip. You shouldn't have to think that you have to do this yourself. You're a strong enough character. You're a smart enough character that you should be able to rely on your friends. Like this whole Cake Island stuff should have happened at pre timeskip, not post timeskip. You know what I mean? Just in terms of where he is mentally.
The whole Cake Island could have been done post time skip. It's just that the character arc should have been changed.
It should have been different.
It should have been different.
How he managed to get to whole Cake Island should have been different.
Yep. He shouldn't have written a letter saying what was his letter again? That I would never come back.
I think he said it was going to handle something. I can't remember. That's what I said.
Yeah, he said I'm leaving the crew. He said I was
leaving. No, but he didn't say. He said he will come back. I think we have to double check. But I think he said that I'm gonna come back. That's why I'm said.
How much of that is a disrespect to your captain?
No, I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad personally. I think it's fine that he said I'm gonna go handle something.
No, it's simple. Pick up a Dendem Mushi, say yo, or leave a message to Nam to say, look, explain to them the details. Like I think the
situation made it a bit difficult because don't forget Capone was there, and essentially they kind of kidnapped him.
He could say, "Okay, I'm coming with you, but I need to talk to my crewmate."
Fair. I understand that, but I think I'm gonna give him.
He made it look like when he was leaving, he clenched his face and he made it look like when he was talking to Nami and Brooke and all of them. I can't remember. He made it look like, you lot shouldn't follow me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're meant to keep calm and just be like, okay, so this is the situation. This is my family thingy. This is what's happening, and I'm worried that if I don't go, this is an emperor. Like, just the fact that she's an emperor is understandable enough to make you have to go.
I'm putting
Do you know what I'm saying?
My crew at risk.
Yeah, my crew's at risk. So this is what I'm doing it. I'm doing it so because it's at risk. So let me go see what I can do. But then
that's why I said I don't have a problem.
Don't feel like this. No, but the problem is he felt like the situation was hopeless, that he was pushing them away. That it's like no matter what, it's like I can handle this.
I didn't believe that. I was thinking
it's not in his character.
If you believe in Luffy becoming the Pirate King, I'm not set, but obviously you're a smart enough guy to know stakes and like what is like what you can do and what you can't do. Like you're smart enough, but you should believe that you and your crew should be able to handle anything. And of course, I don't want it to be one of those ones that you only believe it because it's not directly affecting you. If that makes sense, because like in Wano, because it's not directly affecting him and the Straw Hats. Yeah, he believes that Kaido, that Luffy can defeat Kaido and Luffy can liberate the island. But when he's directly tied to it, no, I don't believe that Luffy can do it.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
I don't like that. That's weird, isn't it?
It's a good point, yeah.
That's very weird. And that's the same for the other characters, but it's more understandable pre-time skip than
because they didn't know Luffy that much. Because all these new characters, they didn't really know Luffy, so it was understandable. They're like,
you can't be screaming that my captain is going to be the Pirate King and he's strong, he's this and that, but then you're not really, your actions don't really, you know what I mean? Pre-time skip, that's fine. Post-time skip, it should be different. So that's my problem with like post-time skip, really.
Yeah, and one of my problem was like I didn't mind, like you can have 5 characters go into a Yonko's territory and come out victorious by doing certain crazy things, but it's like just make it believable that they could actually go in there and escape. And one was a lack of I wasn't convinced that all these things that they did, like I wasn't convinced that Big Mom couldn't catch up to them and Big Mom couldn't do it when she caught up with them. She couldn't do certain things.
Oda treats Big Mom in a weird way.
Like I just
it's weird.
Yeah, I hate it when I hate
I
it when you,
I don't know if he does it because she's a woman or because these things seem to be more common with female characters in anime, or not even in anime, just in general, where
no, he's sending shot.
sometimes hmm?
Nah, carry on.
It just feels like sometimes they don't treat women in anime or certain media with enough respect sometimes. So they kind of not use them as gags, but if this was a guy, it's not working the same way. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be different, and I think it should only be different because she's a woman. This can't run. Maybe, for example, because she's a woman, she has a little bit more empathy when dealing with children, for example, because women are usually a bit more empathetic. They're usually a bit
Big
more,
Mom had,
you know what I mean?
yeah, Big Mom
But
had better potential as a villain than Kaido.
then,
Amount
yeah, then Kaido, you know, I
crazy,
agree with you.
crazy
But
potential.
then
She had the potential to be complex.
I think she is complex.
She's not. It's
And
the
I think
appearance of complexity, but she's not. She
I
flip
think she's
flops.
complex.
She's not complex. She flip flops.
But the reason I think because I still believe we're still going to get more from Big Mom. That's the
Yeah,
reason why
nah,
I'm
nah,
saying it.
she's gone. Please do not bring back Kaido and do not bring back Big Mom.
I
Please.
think I don't think you have a choice. I think Big Mom may be coming back, but I don't know about Kaido. I doubt he's coming, but I think Big Mom is coming back.
No, don't bring. I don't think she's coming back.
Only because of Elbaf, it just seems like it makes sense, and it just feels like her arc
Big
isn't
Mom is
finished.
not complex. Her backstory doesn't make her complex. That's not what makes her a character complex. She's as flat as flipping. She's as flat as a
To
TV.
be honest, I think Kaido. I don't want to talk about Kaido and Big Mom too much, but I think there's real good signs that they should be better characters than what they are. But then Oda only he kind of hinted at certain things and kind of just left it there, so somewhat surface level. But I don't want to go into that too tough because that'll be like another hour. I just want to have a quick rant about Zoro because if you're gonna be hating about One Piece, let me hate about Zoro.
All right, wait. Give me 1 second. Let me just strengthen your argument because
I don't need to strengthen. It's
yeah. Well,
strength.
just give me 1 second.
Yeah, this guy walking away in flip flops, in slippers.
Yeah.
Why does it sound like you're wearing Zoro's boots?
There's cold. Yeah, go on. Go give your rant about Zoro.
Oh, my rant about Zoro. Yeah, this is another thing. This is more so a rant about how Oda does. Like One Piece is such a big world. It is such a big world, but he needs to kind of create. How do I say it? He needs to create worlds within worlds for certain things to stick. So I've
Sorry,
already used the.
start again. I started thinking about something else.
Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say. Hold on, give me a second.
Why is Sanji there though? He doesn't deserve to be there. Like Sanji and a king like that. Why is he there? They replaced what's his name? They replaced Killer and they put Sanji.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, they did.
What's Sanji doing? To be fair, why is Kid there?
Dead baller. No skills.
Why is Kid there? Law I could understand. Hey, law could harm you internally. Like law has
Law can
abilities
do a
that
lot.
could hurt the Yonkos internally. Why is Kid there? Hey, why is Sanji there? Yo, I don't get it. I don't get it, fam.
Hold
I
on.
don't get it.
Uh,
You don't have to take it off, like, or looking for
no,
something else.
that was looking for something else. Just.
But it was a cool picture, so
But anyway, so with Zoro, my
man,
problem with
like,
Zoro. obviously I have problems with all shrines. I can if I really wanted to make if I wanted to make say something bad about something, I can always dig deep and find something. But the problem I have with Zoro isn't really a Zoro problem. It's more of how Oda has done certain things or missed certain things. So we've gone. Zoro's a swordsman, right?
Yeah.
He's a swordsman,
Heard
and
this.
it seems like obviously you've heard me say this a lot.
Yeah.
With Sanji, I say that there isn't a world of cooking. So when it comes to Sanji and his cooking feats, there's nothing to scale it to. So it just means nothing. Zoro is different on the other hand, because there's actually a world of swordsmanship and swords within One Piece. It's not very strong, and that's going to be what I'm going to be talking about. The fact that Zoro doesn't fight enough swordsmen in the series is very concerning.
And the world is meant to be a big, massive world, bigger than the
exactly. The fact that a lot of the time he just fights guys that just happen to have a sword. They're not actual dedicated swordsmen. We even go to an island where I'm assuming where swordsmanship was first formed. This is meant to be an equivalent to an ancient kingdom version of Japan, where swordsmanship and samurai and all that. We're going to an island of samurai, and my man does not fight any samurai. He doesn't fight anyone who's even dedicated to the sword. It is very concerning. It is also very concerning. We don't even come across people who are similar to Zoro in mindset. Why is Zoro the only character within the series that wants to be the world's greatest swordsman? So we don't come across anyone who's even similar to Zoro. Like, I understand he's not the main character, and I understand he's not the main focus. So you're not always gonna have these things, these ongoing plot points or ongoing, if you know what I mean. But the fact that Zoro is very much a prominent character and Oda seems to like him a lot is very concerning that he leaves a lot of these things out. Bro, he hasn't fought anyone who's dedicated to the sword before in the series, apart from a zombie. That was his only actual samurai battle sword fight. And like he's never fought anyone who's dedicated to the sword like that. The only person he's fought is a zombie. And we haven't come across anyone who wants to be the world's greatest swordsman, who someone who wants to, or anything along the lines. This can't be. Like, it really can't be. It needs to change, because it's taken away from Zoro's feats, in my opinion, that he's going to become the world's greatest swordsman at the end of the series, but he hasn't fought anyone who's a real swordsman. I can understand sometimes you're going to fight people. You're going to have to fight different types. I think that's fine. Fighting different types of people that maybe they use trick swords or they're not very dedicated to the sword, but they have a bit of skill. King, for example, or Kaku, or whatever. But this is not a good look. You can't claim to be the best martial artist in the world, but then you've only fought one martial artist, and all of the rest of the guys are just random guys on the street, just random street brawlers.
And none of them none of them were even in your way to accomplish your goal as a swordman.
Exactly, they weren't in your way.
Yeah, Ryuma wasn't trying to become.
That's even a good point. Exactly, he was a zombie.
He was just a zombie.
That's a great point. The fact that there hasn't been one character that has been in his way to become that world's greatest swordsman is very concerning. We are on episode 1,000 plus. We're on chapter 1,000 plus,
and there were many opportunity to do it.
Wano was the best opportunity.
Yeah,
everyone's a swordsman in Wano. Everyone. Swordsmen are born with a sword in their hand. Don't fight one guy with a sword. You could have easily made it where, okay, the Shogun was a serious character, and you made it, because that's what we thought at the beginning of Wano. We thought the Shogun was going to be Zoro.
I can't lie to you. I like that the Shogun was a contrast to Kaido.
I don't mind.
Yeah. Nobody minded.
I don't mind that. But I'm just saying,
yeah.
there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities to have Zoro kind of fulfill certain things that just make sense to him and to the story, his overall journey, and they just didn't do it. And I don't know if they're ever gonna do it. This is like a perfect time to do it, and they didn't do it. Let's go through all of Zoro's like enemies, right? He has fought Mr. One. Mr. One isn't really a swordsman. He's a guy who uses bladed weapons on his body because he's a blade man or whatever.
He's not really a swordman.
He's not really a swordman.
A swordman. You said he's not really a swordman.
Yeah, he's
He
not a
isn't
swordman.
a swordman.
He's made out of blades. He's made out of edged weapons. Or whatever.
Exactly.
We got who would be his next opponent that I can probably remember.
He has many opponents. I can't remember, but just
Okay,
name the significant.
I can't remember anyone. Okay, the significant ones. Fishman Island. It was Hachi. Okay, that's something interesting. He's not really a swordsman like that. He's got 8 arms, so it's going to be interesting on how Zoro fights someone that has 8 arms.
He was actually a swordman, actually.
Yeah, but then when you see Hachi later on in the series, he doesn't even use swords. He's not a fighter.
Oh, you're talking about Hachi. So I'm mistaken that with the other Fishman Island in Fishman Island.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I said the other Fishman Island in Fishman Island.
I'll even get to that. So that Hachi uses 8 swords. Okay, that's interesting at where we are in the story. How does Zoro fight a guy with 8 swords? And Zoro uses 3 swords. How does he work with it? Okay, whatever. But he's not really a swordsman, but he uses 8 swords. It's kind of interesting because he's an octopus. Now we go over to Sky Island. I can't remember who it was in Sky Island, but I assume it wasn't a real swordsman like that. I'm trying to think. See, you see how I'm scrambling? This is difficult. We go to Ryuma, which is, I think, also before I saw Zoro vs King in the anime, because Zoro vs King in the anime is actually very good. I thought Zoro versus Ryuma was Zoro's best fight. I remember saying it in the group chat, and everyone said I was mad. And I said, "This is Zoro's best fight."
Let me not stop.
Ryuma is an actual sword.
God, let me not even stop you right now. Look. The voice is on TV right now. Yeah. There's a black girl, Willie I am.
Press
the button.
Yeah.
So and then another white don pressed the button. So 2.
What's his name?
No, all 4 of them have turned around for her. So that means she gets she gets the opportunity to pick one of them. Watch. I'm call me a prophet, fam. I already know the future. She's gonna choose Willie I am. I'm telling you.
Willie I am.
I'm telling you. Like all of them turned for her.
Tell me who she picks when it happens.
Yeah, you.
But until then, I was saying that Ryuma was Zoro's best fight before I saw King in the anime, because Ryuma was an actual swordsman, and there was a battle of skill, of actual sword skill, a battle like you know what I mean. And then we go over to Kaku. Kaku's not a real swordsman. He's a guy that happens to use swords as like an extension, but it could have been anything. You know what I mean? Like he uses swords, but we can see that Kaku's not a one like that due to the fact that next time we see Kaku, he doesn't even have any swords. You know what I mean? He doesn't use swords. It's just the same way that Blackbeard has a gun, and sometimes you see Shanks with a gun. It doesn't mean they're marksmen. They just have guns. Like even what's his name, Shanks' right hand man. I assume he's not even a gunman like that. It's just that he happens to have a gun because he's a pirate. That's what pirates do. That's what you're gonna use weapons. Whatever just goes in with just their fist, like Luffy.
All pirates have swords.
Exactly. All weapons have swords and guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, Kaku's not a pirate, but you know what I mean. They just use weapons, and a sword happens to be his weapon of choice. But it could have easily been an axe. We now go Fishman Island. Fishman Island. He now fights another octopus man with swords, but this time, here's the difference between him and Hachi. This sword is laced with poison. Oh wow! Come on, man! Come on, bro! What's the difference between Hachi and this new fishman at Fishman Island? His sword has poison on it. He's not even a real swordsman. Like, the moment that he can't use his sword anymore, he doesn't even care. Then we see King. We all thought that King made sense to fight Sanji just due to the fact they're both aerial fighters. But then when we see
Fire.
King and they use fire, but then when we now see King with a sword, people are like, okay, we can now see something now. Sword, it's just like everyone else. The sword is just an extension of his power, but he's not a real swordsman. It's even a trick sword. Tell me throughout the whole series, when has Zoro fought an actual dedicated swordsman? Never. The only person he's fought is a zombie.
And you know, that's part of world building is for you to sort of, you know, build the world of swordsmanship. And it just feels like because he's streamlined the story so much that he's neglected some
I
important
think
parts.
I don't mind that it's not the most important part. But the fact that you seem to like Zoro a lot, you seem to like Zoro more than Sanji. There seem to and it seems to be an ongoing thing with swords because we're learning more about swords as arcs go on. There's different grades of swords. There's different levels of swords. There's different ways you can now make your sword stronger. So there is a world of swordsmanship. It's not like Sanji where there's no world of cooking. There's no world of food and ingredients. Like so, the Sandy thing, I can forgive him for that because he's never really tried to dive into that. But for swordsmanship and swords, there's meant to be a world there, and he hasn't done it properly.
Yeah,
Zoro ran,
100%.
Zoro ran over.
Mixed in with the voice UK.
Who did she pick?
Huh?
Who did she pick?
Change. It hasn't said it yet.
What characters are like? Who's the judges? Tell me.
There's like 4 judges.
Because Will I am. With some, I've seen the voice before, but
Yeah,
I've
it
seen different
changes, isn't
judges.
it? It
Yeah, it
changes as
changes.
well. Yeah, it changes. This time there's Will I Am and Ollie Muzz. And then 2 other judges. I don't know who they
Are they women?
One is a woman, the other is a guy.
Or is it a black woman? Is it a white woman?
White. But yeah, the Zoro stuff, fully agree with it. Yeah, fully agree with it. Yeah, there's nothing to say. We've spoken about that million times. You know,
Yeah,
so
million times.
yeah.
I'm still
Listen,
gonna make
I have an
another video
idea.
out.
I want to do
Go on.
like I want to do either a wano review or a whole cake island review, but chapter by chapter. That way
You'll do
you
that
can
by
see.
yourself, bro.
That way you can see the floor. But
You're doing
I
that by
don't think
yourself, man.
you want to
That's
do
too
it.
long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to do it because I'll rather someone else does it with me. You know what I mean? So that when I make an argument,
That's difficult. You can't do. That's gonna take hours and hours and hours.
yeah, 100%. That would be a lot of content. 100%.
Con-
It'll be like an
that's
hour
more than
every
content.
chapter, huh?
That's an hour every chapter, bro. Whole
An
Cake
hour every.
Island is it's like 100 chapters, man.
Yeah, fam, that's crazy. But people do it.
Yeah, people. That's not
I mean,
us.
if I really, actually, nobody has actually done it the way I want to do it. Nobody like an.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone will because we ain't doing that.
Huh?
I don't think anyone will because we ain't doing that.
Yeah, well,
It's way too long. It's too
if I
complicated to
was
read.
really on it, I would do it myself. But you know, what I mean, I'm not. I'm a bit lazy. If I say
We
I'm
don't
gonna.
have time to do a chapter by chapter for a whole arc.
No, you could obviously when, for example, I do my review of a chapter, and then it's just a matter of time to record it. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I don't know. It's not ending the stream.
Yeah, like yeah, you were saying yeah, you can end the stream, but I was saying even that with I would rather I wanted Sanji to fight King, and then I wanted Zoro to be a part of the group that defeated Kaido. But that's
That'd be
just what I
interesting.
want. Who cares what I want, huh?
No, it would have been interesting to maybe have just to mix it up to have Sanji fight the strongest guy who wasn't the main character because that would have been king.
Yeah.
And then just have Zoro just be
And he didn't even
included
have
with
to
everyone else.
win. Sanji didn't even have to win. He could have drawn. Like, like the character, it got to the point where the characters, the main character, they don't have to win, but they don't have to lose either.
The
They
formula.
could have like a moral win.
You're right. The formula is getting a bit stale.
And you know what I'm saying? It's like they don't have to win, but they don't have to lose. Like they could have like a moral win or something.
You know what's so funny? That look how many characters there were in Wano, but it still ended up Luffy defeating the strongest, Sanji defeating the third strongest, and Zoro defeating
which
the
made no sense, right? It's like
it still ended up being the same. You know, at the beginning
it's so
of the
many
arc,
characters. Things are meant to.
We were literally contemplating who are all of these characters going to fight because there's plenty of strong fighters in this arc. Surely not all of these guys are going to end up fighting the same guys they end up fighting, and they actually still did. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's very predictable. You could have just mixed up a little bit.
That's the problem with formula.
Yeah, formula.
Formulaic. Like, could have used the chance to change things.
Formula is good because it helps structure, but then if you do all the time, they're gonna figure you out. Like in football, they'll figure you out if you do the same thing every single game.
Yeah, look what happened to Brighton. You know what I mean? Obviously, they've got injuries, but look, you know what I mean? People figure you out.
No, we'll figure you out because you do it every game. You need to mix and match a little bit.
They will figure you out.
But yeah, and do you want me to tell you about the one about